What's up, everybody? I'm John Middlekauff. You know what I need you to do. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We got content for days reacting to every NFL game all the time, every single day. Subscribe, like the videos. Let's go. I do think the Colts are in a very precarious situation. Obviously, their quarterback has gone viral throughout the season for, I don't know, not being able to complete passes. And like we learned in Cleveland, when Joe Flacco is on your team, if your quarterback is not playing well, he's better than you, or he's better than that guy and should be starting. We saw in Cleveland, major upgrade. We saw in Indy, he came in, offense looks dramatically better. As we sit here on October 28th, I think it's universally agreed upon that today, Joe Flacco is a better player than Anthony Richardson. But this was another one of those situations yesterday because I don't have the volume on the game. If I don't pay attention for a play and something happens, you don't really know what happens unless you see it on social media later, or obviously you just watch the highlight shows and you figure out like, wait, Anthony Richardson tapped out of the game for a play? Oh, he was injured or something? Tweaked his shoulder or his hip again? No, he was winded. And I thought about it a lot today because I saw Pat McAfee asking Belichick about it. And I thought about the viral video from the Netflix quarterback series when the Chiefs are in the playoffs and Mahomes hurts his ankle. And Andy Reid is telling him to go to the locker room with Rick Burkholder, the trainer, and get an x-ray. And Pat is dog cussing him, refusing to go. Matt Nagy comes over, talks to him. The trainer talks to him. And then finally, Eric Bieniemy comes talk to him. And they all tell him, you got to go get an x-ray. And he is just dropping F word every other sentence, refusing to go. And when you watch Lamar, no quarterback I've ever seen runs around more. And I have never thought for 1 second, even when he's played bad and I've been critical of him, like in a playoff game, that he ain't laying it on the line and his competitive character is not elite. So you think of the best quarterbacks. You're playing the AFC if you're the Colts. The best team with the best quarterback has 10 out of 10 competitive character. I would say Lamar Jackson's competitive character, 10 out of 10. Oh, that other team that's 5-2 and going to be probably a 13-14 win team. The Buffalo Bills. I would put Josh Allen's at a 10 out of 10. So three of the better quarterbacks I've seen in my lifetime, when it just comes to physical skills, when it comes to accomplishments, when it comes to ability, and when it comes to competitiveness, you would have to drag those fucking guys off the field to have them miss a play in a big game against a division rival in the second half on 3rd and goal. They wouldn't tap out of the game if there was a pot of gold outside the stadium. So to see Anthony Richardson tap out, I went, do we have to question his competitive character? Is it just simply, well, he's tired, he runs more than some guys? It's like, well, Lamar runs all the time. Kyler runs all the time. And I was talking with some scouts, and one said, John, he's never really played. He was injured in high school. He was injured early in Florida. And his one season at Florida, they went 6-6, so half the games didn't even matter. And then he was injured last year. He's been injured again. And I thought, well, okay, because I do think through experiences, you build up stuff, whether it's confidence, whether it's understanding of your sport, of your craft. I also think once you hit a certain age, there are like innate competitive traits that you either have or you don't. I think a lot of people listening to this, whatever business or industry you're in, whether you have them, the people you work for, you have them. When you're around people that are really, really competitive, financially, obviously in sports, it's about winning and losing. It is something that you cannot mistake or fake. And some people are just a little, I would say, lax when it comes to that. And I do think you have to question how the rest of the locker room, because this gets to the Bears thing. Like, even if I really like Tyreek Stevenson, like, this is our job. We're paid to win these games. And if we miss the playoffs, if a new coach comes in, the majority of guys on this roster are not Montez Sweat Jalen Johnson and Caleb Williams or DJ Moore. Most guys are fighting for their fucking jobs on a yearly, weekly basis in the NFL. Obviously, if you're a veteran player, once you make week one, your contract is guaranteed for the rest of the season, but definitely on a weekly or a yearly basis. It's like, we can't afford to lose, guys. And I'm watching the Colts lose that game. His stats were horrendous. I saw someone breaking down, like some of those were drops. It's like, okay, like you don't just become 44% passer on the season because your wide receivers are dropping a lot of balls. He's an inaccurate passer. But it's like, okay, we got a project. We drafted him 4th overall. I can live, like, this is what I went into business with. I cannot live with that competitive character question mark. Because now it's been one thing. Listen, we had durability concerns. We had accuracy concerns. And now the number one concern is like, I've seen so many former players that have said, in all my life of being around football, I have never seen this. Ever. Like, it's been universally agreed upon. It never happens. It happens when you're hurt, and usually that guy's kind of limping off or laying on the ground. He tapped out. Like he's Alvin Kamara or Christian McCaffrey or Derrick Henry after a 50-yard run. The quarterback and the 5 offensive linemen never come out of the game. Ever. If they are not injured. I think if you're a Colts fan, you've tried to rationalize the inaccuracies, the amount he's going to have to grow to be competitive at the highest level. But I think you were hoping, like, hey, everything we hear, high character, people really like him. But now we got competitive question marks. To me, those are non-starters. You don't have a snowball's chance in hell to compete in that conference against the competitive level of guy that you have to play who are already infinitely better players, and that you know to get Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, or Patrick Mahomes out of a game, they would have to have a serious, serious injury. You almost have to chalk it up to a loss. And I saw a headline today that Shane Steichen, I think in a call to the media, said that they're still evaluating who's going to be their starting quarterback. I think the decision was made for you the moment he tapped his helmet. You have to start Joe Flacco now. You got to, whether this guy's out of shape, whatever the deal is, we got to do some soul searching here because that can never be okay. When Jonathan Taylor, I mean, they got random guys on defense that were playing their ass off in that game. That can't be accepted. Because if it is accepted, listen, a lot of people in the NFL make fun of the Colts because they think Chris Ballard is well liked by a lot of people in the media and he kind of gets a pass. I don't even know the guy, and I've been pretty optimistic when I talk about him. But if Joe Flacco's not their starting quarterback this year, like, I'm sorry, their organization's a joke. One, I mean, Flacco is just clearly a better player right now. But to that specific incident, I just don't see how his teammates can take him seriously.